Hi, and welcome to this special edition of Inside Bremerton. Today we're at Hot Java, and we are having coffee with the mayor.
Hi, Constance.
Hi, Mayor Wheeler. So good to see you.
Oh, it's good to be here.
Let's head on in and get a cup.
Sounds good.
All right, Mayor. Well, how's your coffee?
Oh, it's delicious, as I knew it would be.
This is really your second office, isn't it?
It is. It is. It turned out to be a home away from home during my campaign, post-election, and then this is where I like to meet folks from the community off and on, too.
Sure, fantastic place. We've really enjoyed the service we've gotten so far, too.
Yeah.
So you are a true Bremerton native. You were really born and raised here. Tell me about that.
Okay, so, I was 3 months old when I came up here.
Oh, okay.
So born in Longview.
Okay.
My father found work in the shipyard.
Okay.
And so him and my mom and their new baby came up here, and I've been here ever since. So it's close to being a lifelong Bremertonian.
Mm-hmm. So then you left Bremerton, really, because you joined the Navy. Tell me about your career in the Navy.
Yes. So I did go into service, U.S. Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Spent a lot of time in the Indian Ocean, Mediterranean seas. Most of my time was at sea. As luck would have it, I timed it where I didn't hit either yard period. So I was in and out of port. I did some math one time. It was 38 out of 46 months, a period of time where I was at sea.
Right.
Yeah. It helped with my veteran status coming back into the shipyard because I found employment pretty easily when I got back home.
Sure. And tell me about that transition after you've been all over the world, and here you are right back in Bremerton.
And really the world was mine to pick to come back to. All those years at sea, I'd been to a lot of cities. I visited a lot when I was back in the States, and nothing replaced coming back to Bremerton. And it's not only was there the sense of community in my family, but it was also just this town, and everything about it. Yeah, we've got something special here.
We really do. So now you've mentioned your career at the shipyard. Can you tell me some more about that?
Sure. So I started off as a mechanic, and I spent a lot of my career as a pipe fitter mechanic. And what got me on that path was the apprenticeship program. So I did enter to the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard apprenticeship program. I'm a journeyman, so I do have a trades background.
Wonderful.
And about halfway through, I moved on into engineering and finished out the second half of my career as engineering. Most of it was on the waterfront too. So I spent even though I was an aircraft carrier sailor, I spent my entire career on submarines.
Wow,
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
So this is all of your professional time. What about your personal time? What do you do? Do you have any hobbies or personal interests?
I do. I love sports. In fact, the other day when the Marvin Williams Family Center opened,
Yes.
the court was there. I could not resist. I was out playing that day. I took my jacket off. I was the only one out there in a tie and a vest and all of that.
Right.
But I had a blast. And so I started loosening up and actually getting to my old self, which
It's hard to do,
it's
I'm sure.
hard to do. I was a little rusty, but a lot of fun. So I love sports. I'm a big Mariners and Seahawks fan.
Awesome.
And those are things I fill up my time with that, and I love to walk.
So what is something that people don't know about you that we wouldn't guess about Mayor Wheeler?
I probably just maybe some everyday stuff. I love Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, I have them on my desk. If you or anybody else comes to visit me, they're there for you. And,
Well, good to know.
Yeah, and maybe I'm taking my wife out tonight. This is Friday the 13th. The Admiral Theater is showing Creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's right.
Those old movies just are fun to me.
Sure.
And so I like them. My wife's going to humor me. She loves me.
Yeah.
I would do the same for her, but we'll have fun tonight.
Sure.
We'll go see that.
Oh, that's so much fun. And the Admiral Theater is such a great venue.
Absolutely. Love supporting them.
Definitely. So now tell me about your decision to move into public service.
Yeah.
Was the city council your first elected position? How did that go?
City council was my first elected position, but I started 2.5 years before that. I was an appointed planning commissioner
Oh, okay.
for the city. I was appointed by the mayor at the time, Mayor Bozeman, and so that's where it started.
Yeah.
Yep, planning. So 2.5 years as a planning commissioner. The seat opened up for city council, and the councilman at the time was vacating the seat to run for mayor, and he suggested I try out. He liked my community involvement and
Sure.
and my attitude and my temperament. Thought I'd be good, so I tossed my hat in the ring, started knocking on doors. Didn't draw an opponent.
Yeah.
And that started an 8-year term, or an 8-year stint as a city councilman.
Sure.
Yeah, and
What kind of projects were you able to accomplish while you were on city council?
you know, one of the biggest ones was an initiative I started. It's called the LIFT program. It's an acronym for Leadership and Investment Fostering Transformation.
Oh, wonderful.
And so what we did is we rounded up our volunteers from the BCAPs, and we put another task on them. And so this was one where they could help us with code enforcement, and not like they were going out and, you know, measuring grass or with a microscope or a magnifying glass. These were the worst violations of folks who weren't taking care of their trash, maybe maybe really in arrears with dumping it, and some of the other things that are a real extreme violation of code. So they're out in the street. All they do is they would hang a notice on the door, and what you get what the city gets in return is about 90% of the folks that are notified they're in violation of a code, they comply because they didn't know.
Sure.
And so it was a simple program, and so I was happy I initiated that one. Got council first. I had to get the support of all the directors involved, community development, the police department, get the council backing, and then off we were running.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I was pretty proud. I'm proud of things like that promote development.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
now you're touching on a couple of these things. Let's fast forward.
Sure.
Now you're the city mayor. So we're excited to have you.
Yeah,
And now
thank
you're
you.
touching on some of your really important initiatives, which
Yeah.
is you've mentioned incentives for development in areas that need it.
Yeah,
You've
yes.
talked about some more code enforcement issues.
Yes.
Bringing technology into the government.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit more about your initiatives.
So we've already introduced new technology both into our licensing and our permitting offices.
Okay.
So we've gone through process improvement, made the investments in technology, added staff where appropriate, and I can tell you, we're pumping out permits at a pace that I've never seen before. And this is what that means to me. It's more than numbers.
Yes.
You know, it's more. Although the numbers are great, it's people that are getting in and out of our office with professional service, getting back out to what they do and want to do best. They're fulfilling their dreams. It could be adding a deck or a sunroom to their house.
Right.
It could be that first business that they're opening up, and they want to sell pet supplies, or they want to do a coffee shop like this one here.
Sure.
When we get those folks in and out faster, they're out there hiring people, they're buying their materials, they're producing.
Absolutely. I know one of your other initiatives you mentioned was affordable housing.
Yes. Forgive me if this is administrative jargon, but we're giving final plat authority now to our director, and rather than going through the city council. The reason this is good is going through a process like the city council can take 2 months.
Yes.
For something that they don't really have a say over.
Sure.
For final plat approval, they don't have a say in that. We had something in the process where they just did it. We removed it. The director makes that final plat approval. We give 2 months back to the director or to the developer.
Okay.
We get housing on our market, and we have 3,500 units in the pipeline.
Wow.
3,500 units.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine how there might be a multiplier effect where we can get these folks out faster.
Sure.
They're selling their homes, they're hiring their contractors, they're buying their materials. You can think of the economy we're creating when we can get 2 months back to a developer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So those things are important. These small things are big.
They are.
Yeah.
And these are big things. This is
Yeah.
a big job.
Oh, yes.
So what is it that gets you up in the morning? What keeps you going?
Yeah.
Where does this heart for public service come from that gives you all the energy
Yeah.
to tackle these big problems?
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love this city, and my city. So it's going to be that when I'm done, this will be the place that I'll come down to when I'm 70 years old. I'm going to walk down here with my wife, Sunny, and our dogs.
Yeah.
Probably be a different pair at the time, but
Sure.
it's important, you know, because if I'm feeling like this is important, I know the rest of our city feels it's important.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, overall, citywide, it's about creating opportunity for people.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what keeps me going, what drives me to make those extra phone calls at 7, 8 o'clock at night in my office,
Mm-hmm.
it's the fact that I'm creating an environment where we might have that next mid-sized employer or that entrepreneur decide Bremerton is their place.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it trickles back to City Hall.
Right.
We actually can do more programs, and I'm very passionate about summer parks programs. I think our Parks and Recs department needs this type of stimulus in our economy.
Sure.
They're the ones that suffer the most when you don't have a robust economy. Every other department is very important, so maintaining those are important, but Parks and Recreation and our roads.
Yep.
Those two things, our roads and our Parks and Recreation department, they're the ones those departments and those structures will benefit from an increased economy. And that drives me. That keeps me going, and it will keep me going.
Yeah, that
So-
gets you right out of bed in the morning.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, I've got one more question for you.
Sure.
And it's a big one. Tell me, what does Bremerton mean to you?
It means everything to me. It is the we are the coolest mid-sized city in the Puget Sound region. The people here are second to none. I have never seen a more giving society or group or a city that can come together around a crisis or to celebrate together. I've never seen anything like it here. So I can say it's home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mayor, if the community wants to learn more about the initiatives that we've spoken about today and find out about more things that you are passionate about, where can they go?
So a couple spots. You can email me at greg.wheeler@ci.bremerton.wa.us.
Okay.
Or you can call me at 360-473-5266. We have printed copies up in my office. We've always got a stack of my 2018 initiatives. There's one page and about 3/4 of another page of bullet points. Each one I'm working on. I expect to be held accountable for each one. I'm happy to say we've made progress on just about all of them already. So I look forward to updating the city as time goes on.
Perfect.
How we're doing.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today. And Bremerton, thank you for tuning in.